Oh shit, we are live.
Oh
What's up?
my God, the clock. We didn't get the initial kind of like I say something, and then people were like, wait, what does it mean? And then we cut to whatever the hell happens after that. Then we kind of bring it back. So, um,
We lost some of that post-production magic, I'll admit it,
yeah,
but I'm
total
fired up.
clown show. Okay, hit him with the intro.
I'm fired up to be here for episode 4 of the Top 1% and our first ever live show right here on Studio One Sports. Boy, oh boy, we got a fun, exciting episode. I'm Marcus D'Angelo, owner of the Golden Era Network podcast network, and I'm also an independent wrestler, and I am joined by none other than the man himself, legend, former world's heavyweight champion, EC3. What's going on, my friend?
Oh, not much. Coming off a little bit of the road where I was going to go to Florida and wrestle at the rave, like we talked about, and that didn't happen. And then there was other things that didn't happen. So I spent 4 or 5 days in Miami to actually chill back, relax a little bit. Got a lot of writing done. Went to a deep, dark place to kind of extract some shit for the book. Hung out with Holiday on the beach. So I don't know if you saw on Instagram. We had a nice picture of a bunch of
It was
muscle hunks.
It was quite a photo, and let me say, you had that 1996 Hulk Hogan tan going on, brother. I don't
Here,
know what your secret is.
the secret, like, here's the thing, too. And man, there's some really racist things because people don't know my ethnicity or my nationality, and they're assuming I'm just some regular Caucasian, some wasp, when in fact, I'm anything but. But I like to keep it in the vest because I like to have an air of mystery around me, which we'll talk about when we get to the tips. But let me tell you a funny story. So,
Yes.
the guy that we have the picture with, Mike Holland, is a like a fitness influencer, but he's not like a lame one. But he was I found him doing holistic sort of energy movements to start his day. And I'm big on like when I wake up, get moving, and usually it's like lame ass cardio or something. But I found this dude, found his stuff, his lymphatic energy movements, the mind energy. So I started doing them, and like my body feels better because I'm not sprinting on an assault bike or I'm not grinding on an elliptical. I'm like just being mobile, and I noticed it helped with like a lot of things, especially wrestling related. How a lot of people were real tight, right? All the time, tight and protected, being able to loosen up. So I'm at the beach. I go, hey guys, I got to take a dump, which is how every wild story usually starts with me. Go find a bathroom, walk through the beach, and there's this workout area on South Beach, Muscle Beach, ironically. And I'm like, man, maybe I'll get some movement in while I'm here. It's my off day, but I like active recovery. So I start doing the Mike Holland movements, which starts with like a lymphatic hop, and I'm just like shaking it. And I look, I look to my right, and there's this dude with a camera, and there's Mike Holland doing it, and they were filming content. And I went, holy shit! Talk about synchronicities. It's Mike Holland. And I go up and talk to him because we've conversed online a couple times. And I'm like, dude, I'm just over there doing your stuff right now. This is so weird. He's like, wow, man, because he's awesomely holistic. So we started hanging out. He filmed the rest of his content. And then Holiday came over. The next thing you know, he's walking us through the practice, man. So we're like bouncing around, bebop, and music's playing. He's teaching us the intricacies of the breath work that are attached to it. It totally ruled. So,
Dude,
yeah.
what are the fucking odds of bumping into that guy while you're down there and
I
getting to
mean,
work out with him and become best friends?
best friends right away, man. I have so many Mikes in my life that are just holistic weirdos. Sovereign Mike. Now I got Mike Holland. I mean, there's Big Mike. Mike's a good name.
Good
Strong name.
name. And another good name, Carson Drake. He just commented. He said, hashtag it's me. Now, look, I don't know if this is a real Carson Drake. Let's be real. I'm going to
It
request that
is
you send.
100%.
It is him for sure.
I mean, what else
I'm
is
gonna
he gonna
say,
do? Of
I'm gonna
course.
say, send us a photo of you with today's newspaper and prove it. But all right, the EC3 is confirmed that Carson Drake is here with us live. We got a few people. If you guys have questions, go ahead and drop them. Probably won't answer them. We might actually, but we do have some notes to get through. So let's go ahead and get into our first segment where we
Yeah.
talk about current wrestling. And boy, I'm fired up to hear your take on this because the internet has been lit afire with talking about this shit
Of
recently.
course.
The big news in modern wrestling: WWE debut of Danhausen and the subsequent fan reaction. For those of you who don't have internet or whatever, he showed up at Elimination Chamber and was revealed as the mystery man inside the crate that's been getting teased. And it's reported that the reaction was
Yeah.
partial cheer, followed
Uh,
by a lot of upset fans. Were you watching?
no, I have a life. No, but I've seen some highlights. I haven't seen it with the full, I guess, fan gamut and fan reaction. One thing about people like it was in Chicago, right?
It was.
I mean, they're a tough nut to crack, and Chicago's really like hard. Like even booing at a heavy rate is almost a sign of respect in Chicago, and probably the expectations versus the delivery, where a lot of discourse online is about what fans think is going to happen, or then it becomes what they want to happen. Then, before it even happens, it becomes this is what's happening, and it never pans out because the internet is not ever right. So perhaps they felt a lack of getting what they thought they were going to get or wanted. Did they really want it though? Or was that what was told to them? And so they blindly believe it and then therefore want it. So, couple things on that. But hey, man, I'm all about dudes in boxes. I think there's a lot of leverage in that.
Jim Cornette, big fan of dudes coming out of a box.
Yeah.
So if Jim Cornette likes it, he's pretty smart when it comes to wrestling, I guess. So might want to listen to that. Now, it was compared, of course, Meltzer would report that it was compared to an infamous incident, the 1990 Survivor Series, the gobbledygooker coming out of the egg after everybody was like, Bruno Sammartino's in that egg. I bet Ric Flair's in that egg. And then Hector Guerrero dressed up like a turkey came out. What do you make of that comparison?
I think it's a pretty lazy, sub low brained take, to be honest. It's like, it's a testament to how fans, well, not fans, like super smart fans who think they know everything, process originality. And they can't process originality. They need a reference point and something that's new that arrives, and immediately, like, we're excavating a 1990s to feel smart about the disappointment that one man feels. So, I mean, Meltzer watching this through a 2026 lens is like borrowed from the 1990s wrestling media version of your uncle explaining why new music isn't as good as the classics, except for the fact that your uncle is right. Music was way better today. Without a comparison, the process of originality, I think, is lost. Here's the difference, too, and why I would say that is the Gooker was a turkey costume with no fan base, right? Like
Right?
it was just a turkey and an egg, right? There's no merch, there's no cult following. And Danhausen, who I have a huge amount of respect for, which I can get into, he's got years of indie equity, years of like viral clips, years of being on television and an audience that knows him way before the WWE. So I don't think it's not the same conversation, and I don't think it's the same language. Danhausen's a merch pipeline. The
Yeah.
Gooker was a turkey because Vince is insane. Big difference.
Now, I do want to hear your takes on Danhausen in general. I am curious. So, one of the narratives that's been floating around out there, and I want to see if you can lend some credit to it or not, is yes, Danhausen does have this, as you said, it's a cult following. But just like a movie that's got a cult following, that movie's got to be introduced to, the movie consumers at large. So, do you think that there's a possibility that there was a reaction because everybody's like, "Oh shit, the box is opening, let's cheer," and then half the audience was like, "Who the fuck is this guy with the makeup?" Do you think that that was going on at all?
Yeah, I think absolutely that can be a thing because when you introduce something to the mainstream that has a cult following or has a niche sort of appeal originally, it is going to be met with, wait, what? So the testament will be, where do you go from here? Because one thing is positive reaction, negative reaction. Danhausen fans loving every second of defending him till the ends of the earth. Cool. To fans like, I don't get it. I don't know. I don't understand. Chicago fans booing. What happens within the work that follows is what's important. And anytime I've been introduced into sort of a niche thing that I didn't quite understand, my first take is always like, what the what? I mean, if you look at think of the movie Fight Club, total box office bomb, right? Absolutely detonated by critics, just lambasted every horrible thing possible said about it. When you got Fitcher, Norton, Pitt out there killing it, making something crazy, making something different. Cult following, I guess it's, I don't know if this is the same comparison, but it's a cult following that brought it to the limelight and shed light on it to where discussions about it, people realizing what it actually is, this dark satire, not this movie about dudes just fighting in a basement, like the sick black humor of it and the railing against society it possessed ended up reaching a lot of people, and now it's a huge hit. So maybe it's a similar comparison.
Now, let's talk about Danhausen for a minute, and comedy wrestling in general. Danhausen, obviously, he kind of has caught fire, and more and more people are becoming familiar with him. What do you think of Danhausen's character? What do you think about comedy and wrestling overall?
Ooh, big unlocking my depths. Let's get at it. Okay, so Danhausen, first off, he's an awesome dude. And he's genuinely, when I've ran into him and talked to him, like insightful, certainly respectful. And one thing I notice about him is he wants to master his niche, which his niche might not be hold for hold professional wrestling, but his niche being something I don't really understand. I mean, I think it's a throwback to some crazy horror character. I don't watch horror movies, I just live a horror life. So, but I think the mastery of his niche is it's the last part, but I think it matters the most because to master your niche, you have to adopt a complete philosophy about what you are and what you're presenting. And what I notice about wrestling a lot is most people are trying to be everything, but he's deciding to be one thing, very specific, fully committed, deeply weird, built his own universe. He's very, what's the slogan? Nice, very evil. I mean,
Yes.
dude, like if you're going to do something in wrestling and in life, it is important. If you're gonna do it, man, go all the way. And Danhausen has gone all the way with being who Danhausen is, and I respect the hell out of that.
Now, I do want to ask you about comedy wrestling in general. Before I do, I got to give a shout out to our buddy, Cam Miller, aka Jimmy Malibu, is joined us. He's in class right now. You
Oh,
can't hear, but
well,
he's
probably
listening.
because I tagged him and said he's gonna be part of the indie spotlight. So
Oh no, please don't talk about Johnny Mahalo's Andy Spotlight. I'm gonna fucking cut off the live stream. Well, so comedy and wrestling in general, obviously guys like Jackie Fargo way back in the day made it super popular and got a lot of people behind it. But then you've got a lot of old timers that say funny don't make money. Now, what is your take on that narrative or stance?
yeah, funny don't make money is probably one of the more ignorant things I've heard in on business that tends to lean on ignorance quite often and what has been done as opposed to what can be done. There's two ways to look at comedy. One, you don't want to be in, and that is you don't want to be laughed at. And I think that's where that statement has arisen from. Funny don't make money. You don't want to be laughed at because you can't be taken serious. You are the joke. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with, and a lot of money to be made in being laughed with. And so this reminds me of a story, and we can kind of hit it back when we get to the veteran talk later. NXT, curly haired fuck Derek Bateman, totally dumb, idiotic concept show being put in a situation to fail, to have these ridiculous challenges and this obnoxious stuff, and not necessarily taking it seriously or kind of turning it on its head, which they got mad about because they just want to torture you. They don't like when you fight back. But I was told, you'll get to high level person, funny don't make money. And then I said, well, that's not completely right because Edge and Christian, for example, 5 second
Mhm.
poses, those were pretty funny, right? And the veteran, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, Kurt Angle, right? Three eyes, milk everywhere. Pretty funny, right? It's like, yeah, I guess. And it's like, The Rock, Poontang Pie. Pretty funny, right? So yeah, yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin, little dumb cowboy hat, saying what? Funny, right? He goes, okay, all right. Mike Triple H, suck it. Funny, right? And he goes, okay, I get it. Guess who that was? But from there, it came to the point, okay, but it's like, yeah, but those guys were serious first. They had some serious equity. They were being built into being serious. I'm like, you're 100% right, but I'm on this show where nothing's serious, short of the psychological torture you want to put us through. I didn't say that. I should have, because it's true. So I need something to be serious about. Then we can build that. And it was like, oh, yeah, you're right. So I'm going to end this conversation by maintaining the high ground and saying, nothing, leaving, probably bury you in the back. And then I don't know. This is why I get fired sometimes.
Well, I like the take on funny don't make money because I always thought that that was really antiquated. And look, I like a lot of the old school mindsets in wrestling. And I think that a lot of the old school stuff, everybody's like, well, wrestling's changed. Yes, but human psychology doesn't change, in my opinion. So I think that you can still do a lot of the shit that used to work back in the old school. That is one old school mentality I do not agree with.
Yeah, and it's like you don't want your humor in the main event of the blood feud, and you don't want your humor in the up and coming push of the next big thing, but you want there's satire and then there's haha comedy. And satire, I think, is extremely important within wrestling because at the surface, what we're doing is kind of fucking ridiculous, right? Pardon my language. But satire and comedy, I think, are different. Where if you take satire, I said, you want to build the next big thing, you don't want to make a bunch of funny things happen around it. But if I'm going to send out a couple jabronis to get murdered by this guy we're building, if they're satirically entertaining and kind of goofy and dim-witted, well, that's an entertaining segment. And we didn't lose anything because the guy that is going to kill them has killed them and then they disappear. So I think that's all right. Danhausen specific, he's not going to be Brock. He's not going to be Cody. He's not going to be Roman. He's not going to be Drew. He's going to be him. And him is a very unique individual with a lot of promise that can make that company a lot of money as he's proven as an independent. And now he'll prove to them. I know a guy who pulled a snake out of his pants, his singlet, quite often and tapped people in the forehead. And that dude made a lot of money and had a lot of longevity.
Very good point, and I think it's a good transition to the next segment. Before we get there, let's go ahead and say what's up to everybody here in the chat. We've got my buddy E. It's just a bunch of E's. NWA Mexican was his name, but he's asking what you would advise I do against Wes Barkley when I take back my belt next month. Well, later on this month, I'm just gonna beat the dog shit out of him, dude. It'll be fine.
Well, I hope so. Here's what I'd like to see about that. If he gets that momentum going early, especially if he's a good guy, you cut him out of an acceleration, then you beat the dog shit out of him. Because guess what? You got your opening. I think you punish him with select strikes that matter. You work him, grind him down with holds. If he gets a little momentum going, you stop him. Maybe you hit a cool move or two. Put him on his back. 1-2 kick out. That's all right because he's exerting energy off the kick out. If that son of a gun happens to really get some momentum going and dare I say make a comeback, I would hope that as that momentum is building and that's building and it's building, you find ways to get away from it. And if he, by chance he hits his big finishing maneuver, you are conveniently by the ropes where you use your foot because guess what? That's a break, no win. As that match progresses and he just hits you with his best shot and he did not beat you, he's going to be a little dissuaded. He's going to be a little mind effed. That is where you take the opportunity to find an opening. And if the ref's not looking and you pop him in the eyes, or the ref's really not looking and you hit him in the nuts, so be it. Do what it takes to win, Marcus. That's what it's about.
Great advice. And by the way, I do have the ace up my sleeve with my buddy Ox on the outside, my big heater. Shout out to
Oh,
Ox. I know you're at work right now, motherfucker. You're probably not listening to this. We've also got Mike Durbond. Durabond? I don't
Big
know.
Mike. Another
Yeah,
Big
but
Mike on
another Mike in
episode
your
of my
life.
Mikes.
Giving
Photo
you a big
Mike.
shout out.
Musician Mike.
What's up, Mike? And Exo Pro Wrestling is with us, and they want a super chat. There should be a super chat button if you want to go ahead and fork over some money, pal. Go
Don't do
ahead.
that. Then I'm just paying for my own super chat. That seems silly.
Right out of EC3's account. Let's get to segment 2. It's by the boys, for the boys, where we talk shop, not headlines, and we're gonna do the indie spotlight. I'm gonna throw to you. Don't you dare put over Johnny
I would
Mahalo.
why don't you go first on this one?
Okay, I will go first on this one, and I'm actually gonna put over a couple guys that I am close with.
Ox, maybe the guy that's going to be your hidden asset when
Oh,
it comes to the
fuck that guy,
tournament.
man. No, I
Okay.
love Ox. You're great, Ox. No, this week I'm actually gonna put over 2 guys that had a huge hand in training me. I was trained by CJ Sensation, as you know. I was also trained by Potter Pisker, 2 incredible trainers. Couldn't have asked for better. Love those guys. But I was also trained for a while by Glenn Spector and his tag team partner, Kanan Christopher. Now, a lot of people are going to say, wait a minute, Kanan Christopher trained you? He's only been working for like 3 years. I've been working for about a year and a half. That's true. But Kanan was staying around after practice with me, working out and showing me things to help bring me along quickly. Those two have formed a tag team. They're called the Troublemakers, and they are not right now holding some NWA tag team titles for Joe Kazana's promotion, and they're killing it on OVW. Really cool tag team, a really cool finish that they have called the Hangover, which I was actually present when they invented. Just an absolutely sick finish where essentially Glenn monkey flips Kanan. Kanan lands on his feet and clotheslines the dog shit out of their opponent.
So it's like that convoluted over the top flip, like Paige and who's the first guy? Easy Money, the money clip.
Oh yeah,
You flip over, but it's a human version, human catapult version. That's cool.
it's a pretty sick finish, and you can catch them on OVW and out there making the towns, pal. So go out of your way to check those guys out. Big shout out to them. Love them. Train with them sometimes. Great guys.
That's nice. You didn't invent the hangover though. You're not a little like, hey man, that was mine. Hey, what the hell?
I don't
Was it
wanna
your
say
idea?
so they had like the seed of the idea. This is the first time I'm saying this publicly. I'm probably gonna get heat with them for it. I believe that I said, "What if you monkey flip Kanan into a clothesline?"
Let me ask you this then.
Yes.
Does the accolade of the thought matter, or are you happy to see that the idea in practice and it works? Like, so that's the thing with wrestling sometimes is, oh, he stole my idea, or I said this idea and they took it. Yeah, maybe, but also you're seeing your idea play out. And is it an idea you definitely would have done? Is it an idea you want to do? Not necessarily. So, how do you feel?
Oh no, so it's never something that I was planning on doing myself. It was just they were literally trying to come up with something, and I was there for it. Now look, maybe I'm misremembering, but I believe I'm the one who came up with the idea. But regardless, I'm just happy to see people do cool shit and succeed. I've told you before, I'm in a unique position in wrestling where like there's a lot of jealousy in wrestling, and people that kind of hate watching each other succeed because it's a pirate ship, every man for himself right now. However, I'm already making full-time money in wrestling. So like I would love to have great success as an indie wrestler, but if I don't, I'm fine and I'm happy watching other people have success, especially people who've been cool to me. So yeah, no, I'm good.
Comparison's the thief of joy, man. And
That's it.
like what you said, you're already making money within wrestling. This almost a benefit to have the mindset that whatever good happens for me in this, I'm playing with house money because I'm doing what I want to do. If it leads somewhere, great. But if you pressure yourself and you think about it and you overthink about it and your head's down and you're walking through the co-op going mumbling to yourself because you're so in your own head, you're never going to enjoy it. And why would you want to do it if you don't enjoy it? And if you don't enjoy it, you're not portraying something that people want to pay money to see, so you're not going to be able to do it because you're not going to get on a show.
Exactly. And plus, I'm like, if I'm in a position to help other wrestlers along the way, I want to. So, like, if I can use some of the connections, the industry connections that I have, quote unquote, to help people, I will do it. So, be nice to me out there, indie wrestlers.
There's a deep full. He's got power. He's got sway. He's got my ear, and that goes somewhere. But
Oh, we've
yeah,
got Exo Pro weighing in. Told Kanan he had to do that move in the four-way he had for us in May. I can't remember if Kanan did that, but he showed out in that match. He was great.
hey, he did. He's very young and potential and promising. I will never say good to somebody because good is not something you want to strive to be. You want to strive to be great. So if I say, oh, he's good, then, oh, well, that's just a wet fart. That's a half-heart dick, man.
A half-heart dick.
Fuck
There's
that.
the title of our episode this week, my friend.
Half-heart. We're
Um,
live, pal. All right.
so Mike is asking, when will EC3 make his triumphant return to the Chicagoland area?
I don't know.
Sometime soon,
I
probably.
think it, talking to somebody about that, but also I don't check my emails nearly enough. And I need an agent, or not an agent, secretary, an underling,
Under
somebody. I need
servant.
to, not a servant, because if they do their job, they're going to make a bunch of free money barely doing any work. They just got to keep my psychotic, as Noah's mom would say, tism brain a little, corralled on what is necessary and needed. That was a good compliment. He's very intelligent. He's got a little tism to him, and
Got a
it's
little
like
tism.
we all
Good
do.
quality. Himbro is with us. Loves a wet
Oh,
fart comment.
he's
I love Himbro. He's a good shit. Buddies with Johnny Mahalo. Now, go
these
ahead. You
guys are
can do your.
yeah, they're here for their flowers. They're here
so,
for the
so
flowers.
you really are putting over stupid ass Johnny Mahalo, I guess. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead.
putting over the idea of them both as young and up and comers because they're super impressive with their youthful vigor, their energy, their want, and their want to do it the right way. So that's off the table. They're at the co-op training with, the pro-op training with me right away. That's the best move possible. We break it down for real. But what I really wanted to put over about them, short of that vigor and short of that energy, I mean, Mahalo, you're looking at like a real life Bodie in training. If you've seen Point Break by Patrick Swayze, and then
Hmm.
the Himbro he's Gen Z chaos with old school. What's the word? Old school conviction. Gen Z chaos, old school conviction. He's
Mm.
doing everything the right way. He's picking up the right things. His intangibles and his insights are clicking. Even if he's making the wrong decision, he's making decisions without falling in line to what he thinks he has to do is what he's feeling. And more often than not, he's right. And if more often than not, he's right now, more often than not, he'll be right all the time when the time comes. But for them, one of the things I preach in the modern scene with the independents and like, how do you get out there? How do you get noticed? I'm like, there's an entire world of quote, content, right? And quote, content creators, but viral videos and fun videos and niche, sort of niche putting yourself into something else where if you're doing that and you're making these videos and having fun with them and they're catching eyes and they're catching eyeballs, you're gaining followers and you're gaining traction. Sometimes those followers won't be wrestling related, which is totally okay. But when it comes to being booked at times and you're reaching out to Penis Pro Wrestling, I don't know why I said that. But you're reaching out to try to get booked and you're sending over a profile on a WrestleMan. And here's all my matches. If the first thing they see is an organic following with a bunch of content, there's something here. They look at the next guy, all wrestling based, no following. Who's getting the booking? The wrestling guy. I'm sorry, the content guy.
Mm.
So him and Mahalo teaming up, they have something unique, energy. They're very like minded, but they're completely different. Where my only thing with them, and this is for you boys, is to stop thinking about it and just do it. Example, running through some promo work the other day, Noah producing it, presentation, killed it. I get it right off the bat. I'm like, that's great, perfect, that's it. And then stop worrying and stop tinkering. You've got it. Now build upon it. So don't ask for everyone's advice because you're going to get a bunch of different feedback. And sometimes that feedback's going to lead you down the wrong road. And then you're got chaos brain. So kudos on the content they're making. Yesterday, I showed up at training 20 minutes late because I went to a gas station to get some zones. And there was a big sale, the big clearance sale, where this gas station was getting rid of every like awful malt liquor drink possible. So, they got the high noons, they got the claws, they got the claw tails, they got the Trulies, giant cans. There's tons of Four Loco. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to buy them all for the boys. Because one of their videos where they were pledging the frat of the dudes in Ring of Honor got a lot of traction. So, I walked in with the big booze and cameras rolling. And I'm like, if you're going to be in a frat, you guys are going to have to do this right. Dishing out the drinks. Connor, of course, opened the Four Loco and it spilled everywhere. But besides that, like, anything is content and anything is a chance to get over, and they're doing what they need to do. The one thing they'll need: quiet mind, patience, because it will come.
I love both guys. I've been teasing about Johnny Mahalo and getting his name wrong, Jimmy Malibu. But I trained with him and love the kid. I think he's got, as you said, world potential. Same thing with Knox, him, bro. Just like a couple of really talented young guys that, like, man, the whole future in front of them. 20 years from now, theoretically, they could still be going and going strong. So I'm excited for what they've both got ahead of them.
Water that seed because it will give you, I don't know about a tree, but at least a nice bush. You get a good bush out of them.
Who doesn't love a good bush, anyways? All right, let's get to the wrestler question of the week. Man, this one is something I've been kind of tooling around with in my head for a while, and I'm glad that I'm finally going to be able to bring it here to the show, not just for you, not just for me, but for the indie wrestlers that are listening and those that are wrestling fans who maybe want to kind of get that inside look. Something that we're all warned about as we're breaking into wrestling is what to be on the lookout for when it comes to veteran guys
Mm.
taking advantage of you. I don't mean taking liberties with you, which is another conversation we can have another time maybe. But what I mean is experienced wrestlers who know the little tricks to make sure that they get over in the match. And sometimes it's at the expense of the young wrestler that they're working with, without the young wrestler even being aware that that's what's happening. My question for you is, did you ever experience this when you were coming up? And what can you tell talents to do to identify and respectfully avoid being put into these compromising positions?
So when you phrase it like that, I kind of went on a different path, but let me think about it.
Sure.
From the indie scene to developmental signed TV, I think it's two different balls of grease, if that is even a saying. So let me handle the TV. First off, no matter where you go, veterans are going to hold their spots and veterans are going to evaluate you, and veterans are going to make sure that you are worth it. But there's a difference between being buried and then being evaluated and found wanting. So one example I can think of, send it back to goofy Derek Bateman, curly haired asshole NXT season, where Regal hated Derek Bateman, and rightfully so, because Regal is a man's man and a wrestler's wrestler. And so, through the presentation of what we were doing and the nonsense and how I worked to stand out, it seemed like I didn't care. And uh, if you don't care and a veteran sees a guy effing around, swinging his little D, not caring, he's not going to give you the time of day nor the proper respect because you have not earned it because you're not working for it in his eyes. So he was definitely right. But coming off as though you don't take something seriously, the truth of that is that I cared enormously and I took it very ridiculously seriously because every ridiculous scenario we were handed, I at least tried to make entertaining in the same sense. They're not giving me anything serious to work with. How can I not try to be entertaining or engaging, get a reaction, and stand out? So it's not the same as not caring as caring at the craft as much as, I mean, we're just different frequencies in that. And so what I would say if you encounter this independent TV level, someone may or may not like you, do not hide from it and do not run away from it. Veterans rightfully want to protect what they've built, and they're not going to hand it over to anybody. So, simple fix: you have a conversation, you have some discourse, ask for their time, listen to them, understand where they're coming from. Don't yeah, but like listen and take into what they're saying, even if you know it and you don't. Yeah, I agree. I agree. No, just listen. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Listen to them. Take it on. especially if you already know what's coming or you understand what's coming, then you properly have the time to have a formulated response that you can retort with. And if there are any decency of veteran or man or woman, they're going to let you state your case a little bit. They're going to give you the opening. And through that, you can describe the scenario, where you're at, where your head's at. They may agree, they may not agree. But what's important is that you show coachability out of that. The moment you and like the moment you apply something they suggest, even if it's a little thing, uh, it shows you have the proper instincts. Like
Mm.
something will click. And so through Derek Bateman doing dumb shit to Regal, like this guy's an idiot and he sucks, to later in the season to coming back the second time, EC3. When I came back the second time and we're doing promos together and stuff like that, he was an advocate because A, we had the conversation. He understood where I was coming from, especially a guy who is the wrestler's wrestler. Didn't get over trading hammerlocks in the WWE. He got over drinking pee and making weird faces sometimes. Like he understood what comes with the territory a little bit and could kind of see my point. And then it's like, all right, well, this is a lost cause, but at least you're understanding what I'm talking about and you're applying it, which I did. And then therefore, good to go.
Mm. And I definitely appreciate that perspective on it. You know, it's I guess especially me because I've been working with guys like Jake and Ted, and it's like I mentioned on the last episode. They're always like nobody likes you, like you're not friends with anybody in that locker room. Don't trust anybody. It's like that mentality, and especially like you've got veteran guys who are, as we discussed last time, they'll come up and give you some advice that maybe is sometimes great, maybe sometimes isn't so great. But yeah, more frightening to me is the idea that they'll suggest something in a match, and I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. But really, it's something that's going to benefit them instead of benefiting me, and you kind of just don't really realize it until after it's all said and done, you know?
I think, yeah, it depends who you're dealing with too. So, say if I'm going to an Indian and working a local guy who I don't know much about and trying to make them like I know my job, you they paid me a bunch of money to make you look capable. And I'm gonna if you check the boxes to me as we're interacting, I'm going to make you look that way and give you things. Say, if you're not necessarily winning, I'm going to make it look like you probably should have. And maybe you did, but that stupid thing happened. I'm different because I've already made it and gotten to a sense of over, and I've been a world champ, whatever. I've done cool things.
Mhm.
Where on the mentality of the indies, there's kind of two ways to look at it. Some are protecting the business, but also want to give back and build. Plus, if you're building something new, you have something to work with. So, seeing something up and coming that's like, there's something here that I can do something with. Not only does that keep them in the game and protect their spot in hindsight, it also, like, they want to make it good. And so, through the good, they're going to make it work and not necessarily go out of their way to bury you while protecting themselves. But that's one kind of guy. And then the other kind of guy I have no empathy for is like let's call him the county champ, right?
Mhm.
The 10-year vet who's never left the city. And it's more so have such an inflated sense of worth based on time served rather than what they've actually done or what they've actually built, that you are in a scenario that really is hard to manage. And I guess it depends on, well, first off, think if this were real, can I beat their ass? Okay. If the answer is no, then I don't know what to tell you other than do the best you can. And usually that shit gets sniffed out, or there's a reason why they're just there and not anywhere else. And if that's the case, no matter what they say, when you come in 3 months and 6 months from now, if you are in better shape, if you are more conditioned, if you're a more proficient worker, they can talk all the shit in the world. It won't matter because where you're going, they're never going to be. So usually the negative nillies are going to be capped out. They're sort of like a mid-level boss in the big arc of the game.
Mm.
And defeat them But in defeat, they might still be talking shit, but then you just have to go, well, it doesn't matter because I'm over here now and you're there and you've been there. There's a reason you've been there. It's cool. So if you could put aside them commenting on your Facebook, the anonymously, like, oh, this kid don't get it, or Grant, of course he's getting pushed because he did this. Yeah, like, shut the, who cares? Anybody who's doing that ain't worth fucking learning from and isn't worth booking in reality. So the ones that matter, work with. Sometimes you got to earn the respect to play this idea they have that maybe totally protects them and totally exploits you. Find a way to do it to protect yourself, but doing it their way, they see that. Usually, if you come in with ideas that make them look good, they're going to be more giving to like give you something in the end. Like, oh yeah, you want me to powerbomb you on the ramp? All right, sure. You want me to do that awesome thing where I murder you? Great idea. I love it. I look cool. They'll give you something if they're decent. And then once you earn that respect, you're more even keel, where you can have more discourse, I guess, discussing what you're doing in what situation.
Love that. Thank you for the great advice. That is going to sum up that segment. We've got Manny who's asking, "Have you ever seen that TV show Heels? Is it a good representation of the local indies?"
I've not seen that show.
I haven't seen it either, so sorry, Manny. We can't answer that one for you, pal. But
I
appreciate.
feel like what I've heard, it's embellished and probably incorrect, but fairly accurate, if that makes sense. Like it's trying and it can, but it's not totally the same. But I don't know. Storytelling, like you said, with comedy, it's a story thing. It's not a wrestling thing.
I would guess, and Exo Pro Wrestling says that they have an answer. I would guess that it's like it's equivalent to indie wrestling the way that like ER is equivalent to what an actual emergency room is, like accurate, but maybe not exactly like dramatized a little.
Yeah, like the Pit, which I'm watching. Like
Yes, the pit.
it's the Pit where the guy from ER's in it, and is that? I mean, of course, is the sub-secondary doctor going to be addicted to benzos? I don't know. Maybe, probably not. But he's probably got some issues. And then there's going to be some inner politicking, and then yeah, administration's going to take away the money from the people on the floor, and we got to fight the system. Yeah, that probably happens. Does it happen as it does in the Pit? Probably not.
Probably not everybody sleeping with each other all the time either. If I were to guess, I don't know, but
Yeah,
maybe.
that's true.
I never worked in a hospital. All right, let's get to segment 3 where you discuss whatever it is that you want to get off your chest, whatever you want to enlighten us all with. This is your moment. I'm going to respectfully stand back while still being present to answer questions or whatever.
Well, I would like you to be president because it's kind of better when we got something to play
You
off
can have
of.
some
But
discourse, sure.
yeah, the tip T1PS, top 1% standard, or top guy shit, whichever you want to call it, leave them
Hashtag tips.
wanting. Hashtag tips, just the tip. Let me finish. No, that's fine. That was actually the first time we ever talked to each other, I think, in 4 episodes.
Oh, what's that? Really?
I don't know. I don't pay
I
attention.
I don't know either. Go ahead though.
Leave them wanting more. And this is beyond wrestling. This is also life. When I say leave them wanting more, Marcus, what are you thinking?
I said this in a text to you. It reminds me of George Costanza in Seinfeld, where there was like one episode where his
I'm out.
strategy, yep, I'm out. He
Yeah.
would say something funny. As soon as people laugh, he leaves so he can leave everybody with a good impression. That's what I think of.
The jerk store called and they're all out of you, right? Yeah, it is a good impression. Same thing with Costanza, where he went against everything he thought he should do and started doing the opposite. And then he was successful. The amount of indie guys I've told that to who do not portray themselves very well and who have not listened to it have done nothing. Like, hey, is that what you think you should do? Well, yeah. Don't do the opposite. You'll be all right. They'll go, no, I'm going to do what I've always done. Okay, that's why you're not booked, you slob, you fat, disgusting slob. But beyond wrestling, it's like real life power dynamics. It's kind of like the books behind me, right? One of the rules is always saying less than necessary, right? So you can demonstrate power through restraint. Not every word you have to say is like necessary. And that's coming from a guy who does not shut up sometimes, especially when there's a red light on. But like holding presence through strategic result withdrawal, being the person in the meeting who everyone's talking to and about, but kind of taking it in, holding back what they think or holding back what they say or waiting on questions. There's a certain element of respectability and power that comes with it where you don't. So I notice a lot about doing meetings all the time is like, do you have to talk right now? Do you have to say this right now? No, you don't. You were just talking to talk to justify your position. And those people never really amount to anything. Uh, Leaving them wanting more is the idea, Marcus, of like, this is good for wrestling. And I want to get into it, but like, absence will lead to respect and honor. And so, not always being present, but give them the high, the feeling of you, the aura of you, and then whoosh, vanish before it goes away.
Mm,
So, you do that, whether it's the crowd, your boss, your friend, the woman, they start romanticizing about the void you have left behind. Like, oh, where is he? What is he doing? What is happening? Indie wrestling shows, everyone wants to be on every show, and every show they want to match. And one thing I run into is like, love to have you on the show in a small segment to keep building because you're at this level. But if I put you in a match, I got to build this thing for you to get to. And if you're the only thing on this show with this thing has to win to bring them there. And so then it's always a woe is me, poo poo face complaint about doing the job. And it's like, or you could have had a segment when that was 45 seconds promo stating your case, got in, got out, let this match happen against this guy. We're now they're up there. Then when I meet you two, guess what? It can go either way, but this has been built and you're there. So absence increases respect and honor. Don't be afraid to dip out. And then one last, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the thing that really stuck out to me about what you said there was what you referenced in the book, where it's never say more than what's absolutely necessary. I think that that's there's something else to that too, and that's the whole idea that the more you say, the more you quote unquote expose yourself. Like the more words come out of your mouth, the more that you run the risk of saying something that maybe you shouldn't have said in front of somebody. And I think that it's true in wrestling because there's overexposing yourself in wrestling, right? Which is kind of the
Oh, yeah.
point that you're driving toward.
Yeah, and you throw it all the way back to Seg One with Danhausen. If he's in 4 segments on 3 consecutive Raws, man, people are going to be like, "Get this shit out of here." But if he's in choice places in random scenarios you don't see coming or expect, people will be like, "Hey, man, I want to see more. What is this? This is intriguing." And then wrestling fans can, of course, get past. One thing I didn't say, but the obsession of comparison and the obsession and fear of what they don't know. And I've been definitely a victim of it, where somebody is trying something and doing something and providing something new, but because they don't recognize it or understand it, and their gatekeepers and overlords that hold their opinions don't necessarily put it over or compliment it because maybe these people aren't giving them inside information and that's why the internet talks about them nice. They do not have that to base on, they negatively react, which is okay because the bit of it is that you must get attention and you must get a reaction. Negative doesn't mean bad sometimes, as long as you can run with that and build on that. And then, yeah, short of that, unpredictability, I think, is leaving them wanting more because they don't know what they're getting. They don't know what to expect. It's the difference between being an attraction and a star or a wrestler. So predictability allows you to, if you're predictable, people will take you for granted because they know and they expect. Think about a relationship. Do people, females especially, romanticize the stable, quality, nice boyfriend they have? Or do they romanticize the psychopath who took them on crazy adventures more often than not? Probably the psychopath. I've been both. Prefer the psychopath, who then, therefore, I'm out. Oh my God, he's so dreamy. I miss him. So it doesn't wind up in, full tilt courtship and marriage, but it does wind up in very good times.
I think that that's beautifully stated. Is that the final word on hashtag tips?
I mean, I don't know. Do we have anything else? I mean, I have some psychology behind it. Scarcity heuristic, recantance theory. I just took some notes. Intermittent reinforcement. Maybe the Zeigarnik effect. Zeigarnik. Do you know how to say that?
I've never heard of that.
Zeigarnik.
Enlighten us.
All right, the brain is going to fixate on unfinished things. Why we're left hanging, perhaps, off of a climax to a television show to what is going to happen next episode or next season. Well, like, I want to know. I want to know right now. It's named after, ironically, a Soviet psychologist who discovered that through waiters, discovered that incomplete orders fare better than completed ones. That's what I wrote. I don't like that. Apply to desire, retain, and don't finish. You know what I'm talking about, fellas. If you stay unfinished, the open loop, they can't close. It's on you to close it, and that gives you the power.
All right. Man, so that's a hell of a reference on a wrestling podcast, and it makes perfect sense to me. The idea that you kind of leave something open ended like that, so it can never be fully resolved.
Yeah, I got my big closing line that will hit. So let's talk about what we need to talk about. I would like to mention, yeah, I got Johnny Bravo of TNA coming to the EXO Pro Up. That is March 15th and 16th, a Sunday, all day immersion. Monday, final eval. If you can make one day, that's going to be good enough. I promise you. Probably want it to be Sunday, but Johnny Bravo from TNA coming in, and that will be cool. And then we got March 20th, Hold the Line, Exodus Pro presents, coming back strong with a stacked card. I guess we can talk about later. We can talk about now. I got Richard Holiday and Lord Crew. Slime Balls are going to be there. TME defending the tag team championships against a Holy Grail. Pretty Boy Smooth. Pastor CeeLo, young Christian Napier and his little clique Vandal 48 will be in attendance. Napier against Ashen Day. I'm going to let the kids go nuts. They want to have a blow off. Let them blow it off. Let's see what happens. So
All
that is
right.
March 20th. So check both out.
That's Cleveland, Ohio. You got to be there live. If you can't be there live, though, it will be streaming right here on Studio One Sports on YouTube. Don't miss it. And for me, it's IWC. You come see me the day after that, March 21st. And
Mm.
I'm going to reclaim the high stakes championship from Wes Barkley using some
Make him,
tactics
make him
that
eat
EC.
his soul. Rip his nuts off, man. Shove him down his throat. Come.
See, that's great advice. That's solid advice for this match. And this was a solid episode. You're talking about leaving people wanting more. I feel like we're doing that right now, brother.
Well,
Go
hold
ahead.
on. I'm going to leave him with the final thought because I actually wrote this down and thought about it, and I'm a little bit of a wordsmith. So if you want to leave him wanting more, you got to burn the need to be seen 24/7. Transcend the thirst trap. Become the thirst itself. If you want to be an overman, don't overshare, overshadow.